Hey there, it's Kimberly Lucht, and I'm a business coach, energy healer, and dance guide for entrepreneurs who want to make more money and magic doing what they love. And so if that's you, you're in the right place. And today we're talking all about how to increase business visibility. And so maybe you might have a few visibility blocks, or maybe you don't have any, but you just want to know how to expand your reach, expand your audience. This is the video for you. So first, we're going to cover some of the most common visibility blocks that I see in entrepreneurs, because I think it's interesting to take a look at. Even if you're not experiencing them for yourself, you probably experienced them either in the past, or you might experience them in the future as you start to reach larger audiences or larger groups of people. So the first visibility block that I see so often is the fear of being seen. And so I have definitely experienced this at different stages of my business, and you probably have too. If you've ever been hesitant to do a photo shoot, to start a YouTube channel, to put your face and name on your website representing your brand, maybe going live on Instagram, or even seeing your full face on Zoom as you do coaching calls, if you've ever experienced a little bit of nerves or hesitancy to do any of those things, then you are not alone, especially because those are such common examples of what I see in my clients. And a lot of the times we use excuses like my makeup's not good enough, or my clothing isn't cool enough, or the lighting isn't good enough to stay away from being seen. But I really want you to see for yourself, what is it that might be holding you back from showing up full face, full body, more for your brand and for your business? The only reason why I like to encourage people to just think about that is because when we put a face to a name or a face to a brand, we're so much more likely to develop that know, like, and trust factor, and to really feel the energy of that person. I love podcasts, of course, and I love audio only materials and things like that, and books and all these things that don't necessarily have a face right in front of me. But sometimes when I see people on video, I just feel more connected to them. There's something to seeing an actual visual, right? And there's that quote of an image is worth 1,000 words. And I really believe that to be true. It's not the only way that we can reach people, but it's one of the ways that we can really start to connect even deeper, even if it feels scary. And this also can apply to the fear of being seen in person. So like standing up on a stage or standing up in a room full of people that you don't know. The fear of being seen can really show up in so many different ways, but once you start to overcome it, you can really start to lock into the beautiful benefits of being fully present and showing up fully for your audience and for your people. The second visibility block that I see really often is the fear of being fully heard. And so let's say your message has a lot of beautiful things about it, but maybe there's one or two elements that feel a little taboo or maybe like against the grain. I've heard from a few people that work in the healthcare industries or a scientific industry that they are nervous to merge spirituality into their work and into their practice because it's not fully recognized as something that most people would do. And so if you feel like you're doing something that's against the current standards of your industry, the fear of being fully heard can really show up, and it can stop you from sharing your voice and sharing your mission and sharing your message in a way that actually really fully encapsulates what you do. And so I want you to ask yourself, is there something that you might be hiding from your audience at this moment in time because you're afraid of what they might think, what they might say, how they might react? And if there is something there, is there a way for you to experiment with inserting that into your messaging in subtle ways at first, to then maybe see and test the waters before you're fully in it and fully truthful and honest about what you really think or what you really want to say? Of course, you can go all in and you could just be like, surprise, I'm actually a closeted, whatever. I feel like I was in the spiritual closet for a long time within my business, but once I came out, it was pretty full force and all in energy. But sometimes little doses are better to just kind of ease into the water over time and be fully truthful and honest about what you want to say and how you want to say it. The third visibility block that I see pretty frequently is the fear of reaching the masses. And so let's say you're on a podcast or maybe in the media and you have this really big feature and a lot of people come into your world and into your audience. Do you feel prepared for that? Do you feel energetically ready? Do you have the capacity to hold that? Sometimes I find that people are not ready for thousands and thousands of people to flood into their world. And if that is the case, there's a lot of ways to energetically open up to that and release some of the fears that might come with that or the hesitation that might come with that. But yeah, let's say you had this book that was published with a big publisher, or you have some other feature that you're like, whoa, like I didn't know that it was possible to attract so many people in. I just want you to notice for yourself right now, if there were like 100,000 people that came into your world tomorrow, how would you feel about that? And do you feel ready to hold that and to hold the energy of that? I think most people are more capable of holding that than they think, but it just takes a little bit of energetic practice to really feel into that and open up to the possibilities of having a bigger audience, bigger than what you have right now, and reaching those new levels. Just so you know, those 3 visibility blocks can show up at any stage of the game. It doesn't mean that if you have like a multi-million-dollar business and a big, massive audience, it doesn't mean that these things go away. It just means that these things kind of develop maybe tiers or levels to them. And so level 1 is maybe starting your business, having your first website, putting your face and name on the website. Maybe level 2 is like going on a podcast feature for the first time and doing an interview with somebody. Maybe level 3 is getting on a stage for the first time. And so there's different tiers to that, but the same feeling may or may not show up for you. And for me, it can feel like chest flutters or stomach jitters. It can really feel like there's energy moving in the body. It's not always a negative thing. Sometimes it can mean that you're just reaching a new level. And so now that we've covered some of these blocks and maybe you've become aware of some of the ones that you see for yourself in your business, let's talk about how to increase your business visibility. And so I want you to first look at the low-hanging fruit around you. Do you have connections in your field or in your industry or in an adjacent industry that may or may not have people that also could be a part of your audience? Is there a way where you guys could do an email collaboration campaign or exchange where you guys send each other your people, for a workshop or for an event or something along those lines? That's kind of more of the low-hanging fruit that I don't see people tapping into as much as they could. If you know somebody that has your audience and you have a great relationship with them, you've definitely been able to have that mutual exchange of benefit, maybe for months or years, then maybe there's a way for you to tap into that a little bit more. And so that's idea number 1, is tap into somebody else's audience. Idea number 2 is to position yourself as an expert. So there's a lot of ways to do that, and it can range from going on a podcast or being in the media or being on a stage, but basically having that platform to position you as an expert. And it might not be as difficult as you think to get into the media or get onto a podcast or get onto a stage. Who do you know that's already doing those things? What do you think about maybe reaching out and seeing what they did to land that podcast interview, or what they did to land a media placement, or how they got connected with an event coordinator to get on the stage? Where can you be positioned as the expert? And so idea number 3 to increase your business visibility is to use social media platforms wisely. When I say wisely, I mean go onto Instagram specifically to create first and consume second, or YouTube, or whatever social media platform you feel called to. Even if your audience isn't super large or big on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, there could be a way to tap into the audience that you already have. And if you're able to keep yourself top of mind and visible on that platform and keep showing up on that platform, you might be surprised at the DMs that you get to work with you. Maybe you get DMs like, I need a business coach. I've definitely gotten some of those before. Or maybe you get DMs like, I need this meditation guide in my life. Can you send it to me? Or maybe you get DMs to book a consult call with you, only because you're kind of regularly showing up on whatever platform fits your brand and your preferences best. And so if you're able to find a great relationship with social media, I highly recommend it. But if it doesn't feel like a good fit for you, then I would focus on the first 2 ideas that I presented first. Remember that creating is so much more important than consuming when it comes to visibility. Instead of watching other people on social media or in the media or on podcasts or whatever it might be, how could you maybe flip the script and become that person instead? Creating content, creating experiences for people to really get to know you and get to understand what you're about. Creating before consuming is maybe the number 1 visibility tip that I can give, because when you are continuously showing up and being visible and being approachable and relatable and showing up with your full presence, that is so much more likely to build and grow your business than just seeing what other people are doing because of research that you're doing or whatever it is. I think that a lot of times we can get lost in the sauce with thinking that, oh, I'm just learning or taking it in, or I'm learning from somebody else. It's why don't you go ahead and just see what happens if you go live once or put up one video on YouTube. What might happen if you put yourself out there the way so many creators are doing online now? What if there was a way to expand your visibility and your reach just by showing up and being fully present and fully open about who and what you are? There's so many ways to do this. I don't think there's any wrong way, but the only thing that you have to keep in mind is to create before you consume. I really hope that this helps. And if you want more guidance like this, I invite you to check out my free Abundant Coach Masterclass. In it, we'll get into the details of how to increase your visibility. And I also get into the nitty-gritty of how to make more money in your coaching or healing business as well. And so if you want access to that, click the link below, put in your name and email, pick a time slot that works for you, and I'll see you on the inside. Thank you so much again for being here. Comment below with your favorite visibility technique that we covered today, and I'll catch you in the next video. Ciao for now. Bye.